Hi, and welcome to Female Entrepreneurs Magazine, your go-to platform for ambitious women who are ready to take the business world by storm. I'm your host, Angel France, and each week we'll dive into the latest strategies, stories, and success secrets from the most inspiring female entrepreneurs around the world.
Hi, and welcome to the Real Female Entrepreneurs. I'm excited to spotlight our next guest, the founder of Breadwinner Energy. And she's also the host of the Breadwinner Energy Podcast. She's a mom of 2 children, certified life and business coach. She has also built 2 multi-6-figure businesses after starting her first business with just $100 at 23 years of age. Now, she's on a mission to empower women to create wealth unapologetically. We all need that as women. Lead boldly and redefine the world's view of women and wealth. Join me as we dive into Tay Daniels' inspiring journey. Welcome, Tay.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It was such a good intro. You nailed it.
I love nailing things. All right. So I need to hear the story of this $100 at 23.
Yeah.
All right. I'm just going to be blunt. What the hell happened? Because whatever it did, it inspired you to be the amazing female you are today. So what happened?
You. Yeah, thank you. So long story, as short as I can possibly make it, was that I grew up with a single mom and we lived in a trailer. We didn't have a lot of money growing up. And when I became an adult, I had little to nothing figured out. I knew nothing about finances. By 19, I had completely wrecked my credit. I had racked up Victoria's Secret credit cards and had no concept of money, savings. And I was just spending my life spending money, shopping, racking it up. So at 19, I've wrecked credit. And at 23, it was about 6 months before I had my daughter. I was working at a 9-to-5 and I thought, after she comes, I just don't want to come back here. I was working at a mental health hospital. I didn't like my job. I barely made enough money to survive at that point. And I was married to someone in the military. And so I thought, when she comes, I'm going to just quit. And I'm going to have a business. And back then I was so young and delusional of all things life. And so I did. 7 months pregnant, I got out my shitty Toshiba laptop and I started typing away, searching what I could be online, how I could make money online. And I came across being a virtual assistant. It was new back then, but I thought, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to start it. So I did. A couple months in on my maternity leave, quit my 9-to-5. And I said, all right, I'm just going to do this. I had no clients, I had no degree, and I had $100 in my account. I couldn't get credit cards, I couldn't get loans. And within 3 months, I had 2 clients, which kept me afloat, gave me a little bit of money. And in 2018, I went through a divorce and went just swinging. Like, I'm just going to do whatever it takes to find success moving forward. And I have this grit inside of me, this self-motivation and determination it's this fire in me that it's just, I came that way. I swear that's what's gotten me here. It's just the fire.
Well, fire works.
Yeah, it has.
You have to have that grit and that fire to move on.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we went through virtual assistant and probably a few other opportunities that you've thought about that you went through.
Yeah.
What brought you to Breadwinner Energy?
Oh, such a good question. So when I left my marriage in 2018, he was abusive. He was physically and mentally and emotionally abusive. And so I finally got out of that. And I said, I will never be in a position ever again where I don't value me and I don't have something for me financially, right? I want to be something for myself. I want to have money for myself. I want to have freedom and choices. And we know that comes from money. And so in 2019, I was asked to be a keynote speaker at a conference full of wedding professionals, because at this point I owned an agency, a virtual assistant agency for wedding professionals. So I go there, and after the show, women are just coming to me asking for coaching and consulting. And I'm like, I've never done that before, but sure, I'll do it. And within 6 months, I absolutely loved it. I was like, this is really natural for me. I love this. I'm good at it. And so in 2021, fast forward to 2021, at this point, I had helped hundreds of women change their lives, women who were in partnerships with unsupportive people, who wanted a life for themselves, who wanted their own money, their own choices, and their own freedom. And I thought, this is what I wanted for me, and this is what I want for other women, is to be the breadwinner. And being a breadwinner doesn't always mean you make more than your partner, but it means that it's this energy around who you get to be as a woman, and no one else gets to decide what that looks like for you. And so Breadwinner Energy was created and trademarked in 2021 as this mission for women to be something for themselves, a life that you love, a life that you deserve. And it gets to be whatever you want it to be. It doesn't mean you have to be this title of mother, of wife. You get to be who you want to be in this world, and you get to have a name for yourself and create a life for yourself that you love.
That is so true. That is why female entrepreneurs do what they do anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
And you know what? And there are a lot that are still in abusive relationships. We all know that.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And your podcast and your programs help them understand how to maneuver through all that. Am I right?
Yeah. Yeah. So in my podcast and through my offers, I help women build businesses through entrepreneurship. And you don't have to come from money. You don't have to come from a degree or an extensive background to find success in the online space, which is what I love about it here, is that you get to build a brand around who you are and what you're good at and turn that into profit. Right. And so that's what we help women do, is stepping into this version of you where you are confident, you're finding yourself, you're finding your voice, but then you're using that to make impact. So what we what is the word I want to say? What we really value is impact, because we know that if we make an impact in one person's life through our podcast, through speaking, through our programs, she's going to impact her children, the women around her, and then the women that she coaches. And then that impact spreads, right? And that's how we create this massive change within women and wealth.
So with doing that, that just allows them the freedom and the flexibility for the family and to nurture their children. So let's move on to nurturing those children. And you have 2 of them right now, correct?
Yep. I have 2 girls.
And you're married.
I am. I'm remarried. Yeah.
Girl, we're all remarried. Well, anyway, how do you balance? Because your children are how old? What are the ages?
I've got a 1-year-old. She'll be 2 in April. And then I haven't just turned 8-year-old, which is crazy. It's a huge age gap. And I keep them both at home with me.
Yeah. So first off, I'm going to say, have you ever read the Birth Order book? It's a really good book that explains how you have 2 firstborns. Because 7, 8, yeah, it's a really good book. Yeah, you might want to read that.
Putting that on my list. I need to read that for sure.
Yeah, so you'll see that their personalities, they're probably going to be both very strong leaders because, go read that book. It also talks, if you have a firstborn girl, firstborn boy, and on and on. It's a really cool book. It's old.
Yeah, I'll have to read that for sure, because my girls are very strong-willed. That's for sure.
They got the fire.
They do. They have the fire for sure.
All right. How do you balance the demands of running your business with your family and the 2 children who are at the house with you?
Yeah, that's a great question. I get this question all the time because people want to know, how are you the breadwinner? How do you raise 2 children and run businesses all at the same time? And sometimes it's pure caffeine and delusion. Like some days, there's no balance some days. But the other piece of this is, if we're being honest, I have a really good support system. I have a really good husband. He's here now, and he's here a lot. We manage between our 2 schedules to balance off the kids. I've been able to build in freedom and flexibility with my schedule. I only work about 10 to 12-hour weeks, so that allows me lots of time with my kids. I have a really, really good team inside my business, which helps me grow and scale while I'm doing mom life. And then me and my husband sit down every Sunday and we do a full Sunday service together, which is going through our week, our schedule, our plan. We have really good systems. So it's a mix of all of those things combined that's allowed me to do both. But then the other piece is that I built this business from being pregnant with my firstborn and knowing that I don't want to build a business just to send my kids to public school or to send them somewhere else. Like I want to raise them. And I want them to be home with me, and I want to be a present mother while also building a business and showing them they can have both. And so that dedication has been what pushes me through.
That is a true statement. And I've found that most of the people in 2024, the end of 2024 and 2025, I find that most female entrepreneurs are very honest and open about their tribe.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because if we're being honest, and I tell other women, oh yeah, you can do it. Like I did it as a single mom at one point with my oldest, and I was a single mom to her for 2 years, and I was running my business while I was with her, and that was hard. I mean, that was like early mornings, late nights, nap times. Like I was squeezing in work. I didn't have friend time back then. I didn't even watch TV back then. That just takes a whole other level of dedication that if I'm not honest with you about how I do it now with 2 kids at this level, then you're going to have this false perception of how to do it. And it's fully the support. It's the team. It's the tribe.
And don't you find that at different parts of your life, whatever age the children are even, or where you are in your life, maybe you're speaking or traveling or something else comes up, it could be more hectic than it is, say, right now?
Oh, absolutely. It's seasons. We look at everything we do in seasons. Me and my husband, me and my team, the business, the kids. It's always a season. The season's not going to be forever. And we know they're not going to be newborns forever. They're not going to be toddlers forever, right? My 8-year-old is super self-sufficient, where my toddler is super dependent on us. And so it's just a season.
Do you do the same thing with your team? Do you do a weekly meeting to look over everything as well?
Yeah, so we don't do the same like sit down meetings, because I have this rule in my business, this unspoken rule, that if it can be an email or a Slack message, that's what it's going to be. We don't have to sit in a meeting together, because I'm all about like capitalizing on time. And my team, they're also moms. They also have kids at home. My assistant's got 4 kids at home under 5. And so I'm all about the Slack meetings are like putting in a Slack of like, what does this week consist of? Like the compass of the week, the temperature of the week, and who needs to do what. And then I allow them to take that and run with it. And if they need me, they can Slack me, but we don't have to sit in a Zoom call and, talk about it. Efficiency over everything.
So you're saying Slack or Slap? Is that like a program?
Yeah, Slack. So Slack is it's a team, like it's a channel, and you can talk to your whole team in there. And then we have separate channels for like me and individual team members. And it's like one space for the whole team to get together.
Oh, I love that, because then you're not doing the big team meeting. You're not having to go through everything. Can you put up videos on it too?
Yeah, videos, you can voice note, you can text, put documents in it. It's like the best platform ever. I use it for coaching too.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's great. Okay. So you have me going to look at that next.
Yeah, it's completely free. It's the best thing ever invented, I think.
Oh, wow. What a great tip. You just gave them a huge tip as well.
Yeah.
All right. What advice do you have for the female entrepreneur who's sitting there going, I really want to start a business. However, I don't have the funds. I don't even know what to do. A lot like how you started. What would be your suggestion?
Yeah, so that's a great question, because when I started, like I said, I didn't have money and I didn't have skill because I didn't go to college, right? So I had determination, and you have to use what you have, and you have to get really creative and crafty. If you really, really want the business, and you need to either adapt, you need to find the skills, you need to learn the skills, then what is the easiest, quickest way to learn them? Nowadays, we've got YouTube, we've got TikTok, we've got Instagram. You have a million ways to learn. My podcast, right? Like that's a perfect place to go and learn from other people and get really creative and crafty. And then when it comes to finances and like funding a business, here's the thing. I did what I could in that season and knew that this is not forever. And then there was a point later on in my business where I did have to invest a lot of money. And I talk about this often. My current husband actually sold his car so that I could invest in a $10,000 program. That program hands down changed my whole life. Made my first 6 figures. That coach is now one of my best friends. And I met tons of women in that group. It was like getting in the room. So get creative of, can you get a Stripe Capital Fund? Can you get a PayPal? Can you do a loan, right? Like, can you ask for support? But you have to be willing to bet on yourself. Like that is the number one thing, is you have to decide and go after it and just say, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. I'm going to get creative. I'm going to get crafty, and I'm going to bet on myself.
Now, what kind of car does he drive now?
Well, he's a state trooper, so he actually has a take-home truck. And then we now have a brand new Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport.
I love that.
He will be getting a truck from me within the next year for sure as a gift with a big go on top. He is a huge supporter of me.
That is going to be so amazing. I can't wait to see the pictures of all of that.
I know.
At least that has to be on your dream board for 2025 already.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. He is super deserving. That's for sure.
Wow. And you know what? Most women don't acknowledge their husband. I've said this on this podcast before that my husband actually, we dated. I was a court reporter. Go figure that. He slept while I transcribed in the middle of the night. That's how we dated.
Yeah. I love it. That's amazing.
Doing crazy stuff. All right. What about those women who've been in business a while and they're starting to feel a little struggle or a little pull here and there? What is your suggestion for them to get over the hump?
That's a good question too, because this last year, earlier in the year, I had a slump. And it was my first ever slump in 8 years. And I had to actively sue someone over a trademark. And it was just chaos. And what I can tell you is you have to get in the room. You have to find your people, because when you have people in business, other women who've been there, you have coaches, mentors, you have that support system. It's going to what gets you through those hardest seasons, because the truth is most of our friends, most of our family, they're not in business. They don't know business. They have no idea what we do. And while they maybe even support us, they just don't understand it. And so we can't lean on them in the same way that we can lean on our network. But the thing I can tell you is if you feel like you've fallen off, you've got to get your skin back in the game. So what does that look like for you? What brings out that confidence in you? What brings out that like really good energy in you to show back up, to say, I'm about to take back over everything that this year maybe has taken from me. For me, I know what that is, like knowing myself, having that self-awareness of like, what do I need again in this season to get through this? And for me, it's my tribe. It's my online support system, those communities. I grew up with a mom, and I love my mom dearly, but I grew up with a mom who thought all other women were competition. All other women were a threat. All other women were, unsupportive. And so I had that mentality for a long time until I got into this area of life and business. And I was like, these are some of the most incredible, powerful, successful, supportive women I have ever met. And every time I talk about it, I just chills down my arms, because I preach group coaching programs. I run them, I teach them. And those have been the lifeline to my own life, my own success, and my own just survival in business, because those women are a place to tap into consistently. And I've never met women that are just not in competition. They like genuinely love each other and support each other and cheer each other on. And that is an experience that I think every woman just needs. She deserves it. You have to have it.
But we create those communities too.
Yes.
Because we don't look at other people as competition. We look at them as somebody else who is doing what we're doing and thriving, and we want to support each other.
Yeah, they are your proof of possibility. When you feel like you aren't going to make it, that is your proof right there of possibility that you can have it too.
100%. They're your jam. If they're not your jam, they're not going to be around you.
Yeah, period. That's true.
All right. What advice would you give yourself, your 18-year-old self, based on what you've learned so far in business?
God, that's a good one. So many lessons. I feel like I've lived 1,000 lives since I was 18. One of the big things I would tell myself is to learn financial literacy. I didn't learn it growing up. So that's like a really big piece, is like learning about that as a woman, right? Because that's going to look very different. And how can you use what you have to be successful, right? That's one piece. But I think the other piece too would be to just be more gentle on myself, like really loving and caring of myself, not so hard on myself. And also the third thing would be to, how do I want to say this? I think for me, it would be, don't allow men or marriage or motherhood to be like the end all be all, and really finding yourself. Like, who are you? Who do you want to be? You can be a wife and a mom and a business owner and have success, but who are you at the core? And like really finding and loving that version of who I was.
That was a lot rolled into one, and all of it is so true. I love the financial. I love the fact to give yourself a little bit space. And yeah, definitely you have to. And just know you're who you are.
Yeah. Knowing who you are and loving who you are will be honestly the thing that brings you the most online success, is like the true acceptance of you. That's what makes you you.
Yeah. That's it. Being authentic. I love the word authentic.
Yep.
It is so true. Because if we're not authentic to who we are, nobody, I mean, no matter what you do, nobody's going to relate to you.
No, not at all. You have to be okay with people just not liking you. Like that's part of it. Like you just have to be like, this is who I am.
So I am.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to circle around to those people who are with you or your jam. Otherwise, the rest of them are not your jam.
Exactly.
I like your jam. I know I had a beep too. You're good. I did. Oh. All right. Now that we went back, let's go forward. Do you mind giving us a tip of, you just already told us how you plan every single week. How do you plan for a new year?
Ooh, that's really good. I just did a lot of that this morning. One of the things that I actually do is I use ChatGPT, and I have ChatGPT give me a 10 questions to ask me, how do I want to feel at the end of the year? What do I want to accomplish? What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? What do I want to overcome? New habits, new routines, all the things. And then I ask it to give me a synopsis back to me of what that would look like, and then give me back my 5 biggest goals based on all those questions it asked me. And then I break those goals down: relationships, life, body, mental health, business, finance. And then from there, it's what do I need to do and who do I need to become in order to hit those goals. And so then I create a vision board, because I am a visual person. I need to see it. And then I create Sunday service, like I talked about, I do with my husband, for my business. And then I go through what's working, what isn't working. Am I going and doing the things I said I was going to do? And then I go through those pieces of like week by week, month to month, quarter to quarter. And I really, I do this every single year, but it's, how can I commit to myself and do the things I said I was going to do, and promise to follow through for an entire year before giving up or changing my mind? Because one of the big things I see is people get really excited in January and February, and then March through May, it kind of dies off. Summer hits and fall comes around and they're like, I'll do it next year. But what if you committed a full year to just doing it and seeing what happens by next December? And so again, I systematize everything, but I do big vision first, and then I break it down into small pieces, and then I do weekly check-ins.
So we have the same exact system, and that's rare because most people are not that in depth.
Yeah,
but I do exactly the same thing. And I also am the big vision girl, and I have to back it down.
Yes, absolutely. That's me to a T. I love it.
Besides the big bow on top of the truck, what, if you don't mind sharing, what is another goal you have for next year?
I have so many goals. I'm like, I don't know which parts to share. Do you want me to share business? Do you want me to share life? Do you want me to share finances? Like, I'm an open book. I can tell you everything.
Yeah, I am too. It's your time. Go for it. Whatever you want to share.
Well, one of the big things that I really want to hit, a big milestone in my business, is 7 figures. And I'm determined in the next 3 years to hit it. Of course, I would love to hit it next year, but as long as we cross 500,000, I'm going to be happy as can be, because we'll be on track for $1 million. So financially, that's where we're at. Yes, the bow and the big truck for my husband for sure. And then to take my family on a 2 to 3 week vacation next year and fly private. That is one of the biggest goals too.
Ooh. And where do you think you guys want to go? I love flying private, though. I think that's cool.
Yeah, we are going to go to 30A. We go there pretty much every year, Florida. And we usually go to Alice Beach. It is like my favorite secret hidden gem. I love to go there. I go there in December because it's less busy. I'm telling you guys all my secrets. But that's where we'll go. Beachfront house. And I will turn my phone off and my computer will not be coming. And I will just be soaking up the sun and the beach with the kids.
And the great thing about our business is that we can prep everything we need for those 3 weeks, guys. And learn that if you haven't learned that yet. That is a great tip she is giving you. She's giving you tip after tip after tip here. Amazing. All right. What is one key strategy that you've taken that people have told you, oh God, that's not going to work. Don't do it.
Oh, there's been a lot. I think the number one thing that has consistently come up for me that my team has redirected me every time is changing my mind or changing direction mid-year, mid-launch. And instead of just consistently going after the one thing, the one goal, the one offer, it's rapidly making so many changes because then your audience can't keep up. Your people can't keep up. So that strategy does not work. It has failed me many times. And that is the one lesson I've had to learn on repeat. So my advice to you is take your big vision, like we talked about, break it down into small goals and follow through without a single change. It's also going to give you so much data, but it's also going to remind you that you're capable. Like you can actually do it without changing. You can go after one thing, and then the consistency part of like proving to yourself you can be consistent.
I love that. That one's true because that change thing drives people because most people aren't used to change. You have the fire, so you're used to the change. Yes. I'm used to the change. Most people are not used to that.
Exactly.
They have to, if they're slow and steady.
Yep. 100%. You have to kind of ebb and flow with it. So I keep a book of all the things I wish I could change and no one will let me.
You sound like you have a great team that keeps you like on track.
Oh, for sure. That's the thing too. You have to find your people, like we said, because like my assistant will immediately nip it in the butt. She doesn't care. She will call me outright to my face. And I'm like, that's why we love each other, because we are just so direct.
Yeah. My social media manager, she is my plus. And so she's basically everything. And she'll do the same thing with me. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, really?
Please.
Or she'll come to me and say, can we? And I always say yes. She goes, why do you always say yes? I said, because yes, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Who cares? Let's try it.
All right. What's one fun fact about you that many people don't know about?
Ooh, that's good. That is. I've got lots of fun facts. Well, one of the big things that people don't know about me is I am super introverted and I'm actually a homebody. Like my friends had to drag me out of the house. I just went to dinner last night with one of my best girlfriends and I haven't seen her in over a year because I am such a houseplant. I'm an introvert, and when I'm at work, I'm like this big bubbly personality, and then I will close the computer and just be completely different person. So I have a good balance, but I am extremely introverted. And so I don't do a lot of in-person because it makes me really, really anxious. And I feel bad because people are going to be like, oh my God, she's so closed off. She's so reserved. But I'm just like an anxious person. But you wouldn't know that online because I'm so extroverted here.
Wow. And I am a homebody as well. Yeah. And I don't know if that became from COVID or whatever, but everybody thinks I'm this big old extrovert because I'm always, when I'm out and about, that's who I am.
Yeah, that's who I am too. It's the balance really too. Like I have a good balance of it, but I definitely need that like time to recharge because I don't know, I'm very much to myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, owning a magazine, I mean, that's a little nerdy all in itself anyway. So, you know.
Yeah, I love it.
All right. Book. Do you have a favorite book?
I do. I recommend this book to every single woman that exists on the planet, which is You Are a Badass at Making Money. I've read this book a million times. I've gifted this book. I freaking love this book. It never gets old.
That is a good book.
Yeah, so good.
It is. All right. What about a song? What is a go-to get up and move it song?
So I don't have a favorite song, but I do love music. I listen to music all the time. And you guys don't judge me for this one, but if I'm alone in my car and I don't have kids and I'm trying to get myself upbeat, I usually listen to Kevin Gates, like some real raunchy rap music. Just always makes me feel better.
Hey, I think it's cool. I mean, we've had like all kinds of crazy music. We've had from classic to major rap. We've gone everywhere in here.
Yep, I love it.
What about a favorite quote?
Yes, my favorite quote ever is the people who like you will love you and the people who don't matter.
It's been our theme.
Yeah, it is. I live by that quote, like live and die by that quote.
Whoever's in your jam, they're your jam. Whoever's not.
Let them go.
That's been our whole conversation. All right. How do you stay motivated?
Ooh, this is a good one too, because people who come into my world, we talk about this a lot. It's like, how do you get back on the train when you feel unmotivated? And I don't know if I'm necessarily a good person to ask this question to, because I am very self-motivated and driven. Like that's like in my DNA. So that's part of it. But the other piece of it too is that you have to stop thinking that motivation is going to find you. It's something that you create. So if you are expecting to run and grow and scale a business and make a lot of money, but you are not self-motivated and you're not willing to find it, you're not going to. You have to create it. You have to work when you don't feel like it. You have to do the hard thing when you don't feel like it. And if you run your business solely on feeling good, it's not going to work. It just won't. You got to create it.
Yep. Yeah, just do it.
Yes. Just like you were telling me, you're doing insurance from morning till the crack of dawn and also starting a magazine and you're months ahead. It's like, if you really want it, you're going to figure it out. You're going to find it. And
it's like with money. Okay. When people really want something, they will find the money in a way.
Yes. Talk about this all the time. Crackheads always find a way. They do. They always find a way. They always get the money. And I think about this too. We talk about this quite a bit. Is you all know someone here who never has money, but yet gambles or buys cigarettes or buys alcohol. Like they always have money for that, right? Everyone has time and money for the things they want. It's just the truth.
It is. It's 100% the truth. But you're so honest. All right. What is the best way for our audience to stay connected with you?
Great question. So you can listen to my podcast, the Breadwinner Energy Podcast. And then you can always come over to Instagram at it's Tay Daniels _LLC. And it's always me. My social media manager will be there. But if you chat with me in the DMs, it's always me. Come say hello. I am direct, but I'm nice.
I had someone tell me that they're just way too direct and they are told that they're too direct all the time. And I'm like, I don't see you direct. You're just to the point. I mean, have you ever taken the DISC personality? I'm sure you have test. Yeah. I'm a high IG.
Yep. It's been a while, but I am also just like straight shooter, very direct. And people don't like it, but I'm telling you, I have found the people who love it and found my people, my jam, my community. And that's where you create your magic, is with your people. So.
All right. Is there anything else you want to share with our audience?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me. This was incredible. You are lovely. I love this episode. This has been so much fun. And for everyone listening, I just want you to go after your dreams with your entire heart.
Yep. I love it. Oh, you were a blessing. Oh my God. So much fun. Loved having you. You are welcome here anytime. And I cannot wait to see you in the magazine. You'd be just so gorgeous. I know it.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much again. Thank you for having me. This was incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Female Entrepreneurs Magazine. I hope you found inspiration, actionable tips, and a sense of connection with our incredible community of driven women. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave a review, and share the episode with fellow entrepreneurs who are ready to elevate their game. Remember, your success is just the beginning, and we're here to support you in every step of the way. Until next time, keep shining, keep thriving, and remember, You have the power to create the business and life of your dreams. Stay inspired, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.